Well then, this is totally gonna be a long ass fucking series, but let's just fucking get this over with. What's up, bitches? So, a while back, the activist mommy said that she was going to be coming out with her very new and very original book called Not On My Watch. Well, it finally came out on February 12th of this year, and lo and behold, I got it. Now, I'm pretty sure you're all wondering, why the flying fuck would you even give this woman any of your hard-earned cash? Well, here's the fucking funny thing. She is a fucking full-blown hypocrite because she did the exact same thing with a Teen Vogue magazine. She fucking did the exact same thing when she went out and purchased that specific Teen Vogue magazine and decided to burn it. So why not? Why not do the same? Why not review the content of this crappy-ass book, this hate-filled book, and let's review it each fucking chapter. Let's review it, let's respond to it, and then at the end of the book, let's do what she did and fucking burn it. Get ready for this long ass fucking series because it's going to be a long, bumpy ride. Here we go. Let's take a look at the fucking chapters, shall we? Let's take a look at chapter fucking 1, shall we? Chapter 1's called Out of Your Dens, Mama Bears. Oh my fucking god. Here we fucking go. This is gonna be fucking... when the fuck does this chapter even start? Because, okay, good lord. It takes about 11 pages before we get to the first fucking chapter. So here we go. Out of your dens, Mama Bears. Nothing frustrates me more than hearing Christians say we are supposed to just preach the gospel, not fight a culture war. Grr, no, actually no. Oh my god, this is going to be a fucking wild ride. Please someone stop the madness. It was a day I will always remember. As a mother of 9 homeschool kids and 6 months pregnant with my 10th, I was facing laundry piles as tall up as my 5'3" framed stacks of papers to grade, with 2 sinks full of dishes and more bills piled on my desk than there was money in our always slender bank account. But something burned inside me that I couldn't ignore as I read the news that day. Wait, hold the fucking hell. Hold the fucking tick. Hold the hell. Your slender bank accounts? Last time I checked, your fucking husband's a doctor. Your husband's a doctor, and I'm pretty sure he makes well good enough money for you to survive fucking having kids, 9 kids, homeschool kids with 10 along the way at that time. So let's fucking continue. I could identify with and understood with the small, bold woman I watched on my computer screen, who was at that moment the talk of the nation. I wonder who that fucking person could be! I had been loosely following and unfolding the conflict in Kentucky as Kim Davis, a county clerk, refused to sign a same-sex marriage license because of her biblical convictions. Her life was being dissected by every news organization in the nation. The sins of her past were being broadcasted of the world. There was no sincere attempt by the media to understand her motive for not wanting to endorse same-sex marriage. She was ruthlessly mocked by the LGBT community. She was targeted with vulgar death threats, and even her church received bomb threats. Her friends and family, the ones she loved the most, were now in danger because of her principled stance. She had every reason to throw in the towel and sign on the dotted line. Yes, but she didn't. She became a fucking martyr for hate-filled human beings like yourself, Elizabeth. She became a fucking martyr for all of the hate-filled human beings on the planet of the Earth. And how quaint, that's perfectly your standing right then for you. Oh, and let's fucking continue, because I know that we'll talk more about Kim Davis in the future. The same-sex couples who were walking into Kim's office for a license could easily go to the neighboring county clerk for their marriage licenses, but they were activists, and they were targeting Kim, who refused to be bullied or bribed or threatened into bowing into their of political correctness. They would not rest until every single Christian county clerk in America was bullied into defiling their conscience and signing the same-sex marriage licenses. First of all, when you are fucking working as a county clerk, you're working for the government. You're supposed to put your religious aspects separate. That's why we have separation of church and state. Come the fuck on! I walked over to the refrigerator, got my toddler a sippy cup, and changed the baby's diaper. I sat back down before my laptop and clicked on a video being broadcast from a Kentucky news station. Kim Davis was behind her counter in her office, completely swarmed by cameras and reporters as two men angrily yelled at her and reporters bombarded her with questions. I was struck by how calm, soft-spoken, yet firm she was while responding to these outsiders. When Kim told the same-sex couple she would not be ensuing marriage licenses that day, the tension grew as the homosexual couple was indignant. Funny thing is about Kim Davis, she was refusing to sign not just same-sex marriage licenses, but she was also refusing to sign straight marriage licenses. But funny how you refuse to fucking point that out, Elizabeth. Under whose authority are you refusing to issue us a marriage license? The homosexual asked as the television camera zoomed in. Without missing a beat, Davis responded, under God's authority. That's it! Those were the words I had been waiting to hear. I immediately said to my children, kids, pack your bags, we're going to Kentucky. I wasn't about to let my children miss this opportunity to watch up close this bold woman of God to take a stand for God and His word. So, you took your children from their loving house of wherever the fuck you lived in, and you basically just dragged them out without having a word in edgewise. You sound like a loving mother, Elizabeth. Kim Davis knew what she had said was politically incorrect and that the nation would be watching. She didn't care. She knew she had just infuriated the left and would be ruthlessly targeted. She didn't care. Her devotion for God outweighed the opinions of people. I decided nothing was stopping me from having my children participate in this heroic show of faith under God's authority. That's how God dynamited me out of my chair in my homeschool room of Ohio and onto the front lines of the country, of the culture war. You went to support a woman who has been married multiple times, who refused to do her job as a county clerk, which, ironic, now looking back at it, she now has to pay for all of the stuff she had to go through when she was in court that time. Are you gonna actually raise money to help her? I don't think so. Rallying the troops. Never had I so clearly visualized the clear and present threat to my children and their future liberty, and I was prepared to do whatsoever little old me could do to remove that threat. What threat? What fucking threat are you talking about? People wanting to fucking marry the person who they love is somewhat of a threat to you? Two consenting adults wanting to get married, wanting to be miserable like the fucking rest of us. That's somehow a threat to you and your fucking kids? Are you kidding me here? I got on Facebook immediately to begin rallying my friends. 35 of us from several different states hastily packed and drove to Kentucky to arrive in time for the morning trial. We found hundreds of people standing outside the courthouse rallying around Kim and traditional marriage, as well as about 45 people who became hoping to see a victory for the LGBT community. The sun beat down on us as we prayed and sang outside the courthouse, asking God to vindicate Kim and protect the religious liberty of Christians in America. Your Christian liberties are not being trampled on. Stop acting like a fucking victim, you freaking idiot. At the trial, the worst we expected was that Kim Davis would be demoted or lose her job. The thought that infuriated us. Never in a million years did we suspect what was about to happen. Judge David Bunnan decided to make the national statement and placed Kim in wrist and ankle shackles and threw her in jail, telling her she wasn't getting out until she was willing to sign the same-sex marriage licenses. I could not believe how far gone we were that we would let this federal judge overrule the will of the people of Kentucky and persecute this Christian clerk who was simply following Kentucky law and her religion. She wasn't following Kentucky law, though. She wasn't. She was breaking it, because when the law of the land was stated, because the Supreme Court ruled it, that homosexuals can get married. She broke the fucking law, and she was indicted in court. That's not following Kentucky law, you numpty. I wanted to encourage Kim Davis so badly, so we went with our 9 kids in tow and one in the belly ready to visit every local jail facility until we found her. You know, I highly fucking doubt that even happened, but you know, you want to make yourself look like the perfect little angel here, even though you're more like a fucking devil. At our second stop, the van swiftly pulled up to the jail, and inside of it we saw handcuffed Kim. We love you, Kim! We're praying for you, Kim. You're not alone. You're a hero! In other words, I want to call is bullshit. A Christian went to jail that day in America for simply acting like a Christian. I was shocked. How did we get here? My husband had to go back to work in Ohio. As a physician, he had patients scheduled on Monday. I implored him, let us stay, honey. We can't leave yet. Kim's in jail. There is still work to do here. I knew I was pushing him out of his comfort zone. He is a family man and hates coming home to an empty house at the end of the hard day of work. But he saw the fire in my eyes and he fanned it and let us stay. That right there just proves that your bank account, like you said earlier, was not fucking slender. You had money to spare, lady. 9 kids. Are you kidding me? The national media followed us everywhere. We sat down for continental breakfast beside CNN and MSNBC reporters. We bumped into New York media moguls in the elevator. Our small band of few dozen believers gave them something to report as we fired our campaign to get Kim out of jail. We were the boots on the ground. We created flyers, banners, and networked with pastors, organized a rally, and handed out leaflets at their ball games. We flew speakers from around the country. We worked hard to keep the story alive while encouraging God's people to rally around Kim and demanding the leftist judge to free Kim Davis. Over 75% of Kentuckians had overwhelmingly voted against same-sex marriage. Federal courts cannot make laws according to the U.S. Constitution, much less make laws according to the U.S. Constitution, must make laws overrule the state's contiguous. Kim Davis was obeying the law. Our rallying cry became, show us a law or free Kim Davis. Lady, the law of the land was homosexuals can get married, assigned by the Supreme Court. The highest court in America, you idiot! It doesn't matter at that point if Kentucky basically said, we don't want gay marriages. The fucking Supreme Court said, let them get married. You idiot! The most controversial thing we did was protest outside Judge Bunning's house, and it worked. After days of protesting and holding a huge rally at the jail with 10,000 people in attendance, baking on the asphalt of the jail parking lot with blistering heat, we watched with amazement as Kim Davis walked out of that jail with a wide smile on her face and her hands uplifted in praise. It was through the most memorable and exciting weeks of my kids' lives. They still recall that time in Kentucky with tremendous fondness. They will never forget what God did and how he used our feeble efforts to get their sister out of jail. You know, I highly fucking doubt that your kids being dragged out of their comfort zone from Ohio, being in the blistering heat of Kentucky, I highly doubt that that's what they wanted to do on their spare time, Elizabeth. I highly fucking doubt it. The government is not of God. We urge Kentucky Governor Steve Beshear and the Kentucky legislature to uphold God's law and Kentucky law and resist the unlawful decision from the federal judiciary. Beshear did not. And as a result, the election soon after Kim Davis' fiasco saw executive branch of Kentucky go from Democrat to Republican for the first time in almost 4 years with the election of Matt Bevin, because Bevin was a very vocal supporter of Kim Davis and religious liberty. Good for him. And now, I wonder what happened next time. Oh, wait, yes, this recent election up there Oh, yes, that's right. The fucking Kim Davis lost her election cycle up in Kentucky, so oops. Kim Davis had Kentucky law and the people of Kentucky on her side. Since 2004, the Kentucky Constitution had read, only a marriage between one man and one woman shall be valid or recognized as Kentucky, as marriage in Kentucky. A legal status identifying or substantially similar of that marriage or unmarried individuals shall not be valid or recognized. Not only were they defining marriage between a man and a woman, but they weren't compromising to accept same-sex civil unions. Well, unfortunately, that's not how the Supreme Court rules. Gays still can get married. You asshole. When the Supreme Court ruled that the states must accept same-sex marriage, they usurped their lawful boundaries. The United States Constitution tells us who has the power to create law, and it's not the judiciary. All legislative powers herein granted shall be vested in a Congress of the United States. Article 1, Section 1. If quote-unquote all lawmakers' power is vested in Congress, is there any left for the courts? No, Kim Davis didn't violate any laws. Therefore, her incarceration was lawless. It was kidnapping according to the laws of the land. Wrong doesn't suddenly become right because a guy in a black robe violates law who kidnaps an innocent person and puts her in her cage. Oh my god. I mean, can a judge rape someone and it be okay because he's a judge? What if he does it in a judge attire in a courtroom with a gavel in hand? No, of course not. He's not the standard of right and wrong. Our rights become of God, not man. They're indefiable, which means they cannot be legitimately infringed on except for punishment for a crime. Might does not make right just because Judge Bunnin and his gun-toting accomplices can shackle and cage an innocent person in violation of the law and the state of the federal constitutions. That doesn't mean it's okay. He's the criminal! Oh my god! Are you fucking kidding me here? Ooh, I feel like I'm fucking watching one of her rant videos. I feel like I'm watching one of her rant videos and I'm losing my fucking mind slowly here. Oh my god, okay. Let's see, what the fuck, okay, Kim Davis didn't violate any laws. Yes, she was. She was found in contempt of court, you fucking idiot. That's breaking the fucking law. That's why she went to jail, because she was found in contempt of court. Oh my god. Kidnapping. Are you fucking joking me here? She wasn't kidnapped. Are you fucking retarded? Are you fucking that stupid? Are you legitimately that brain dead? I know that literally the saying is blondes are fucking stupid, but for you, Elizabeth, it's fucking 100% factual. Our rights come from God, not man. Okay, so is that why we have the Bill of Rights, which was written, oh yeah, that's right, by fucking man. You dumbass. God. Okay. The 9th and 10th Commandments to the United States Constitution limit the federal government to specifically enumerate powers. Any right or duty not given to the feds belongs to the states or the people. The feds are oath-bound to obey the Constitution, which gives them their power in the first place. If the Constitution may be trampled, then upon what basis must we obey what they say? So you're basically saying fuck the Constitution is what you're fucking saying. Okay, can we fucking tell everyone that you are against the First fucking Amendment? Actually, yeah, that's right, you are against the First fucking Amendment because you ban and block anyone who goes against what you say. Oh my god. The federal government isn't the matter of the states. It is the servant of the states with limited jurisdictions. They can only do what the contract says they can do. Even if something needs to be done that does not being done, they can't do it without amendment authorizing them to do it. You don't amend the Constitution by violating it. Lady, she was in violation of the Constitution when she denied those marriage licenses. I believe it's the 14th Amendment that basically says you should not, like, that's discrimination. She was discriminating against people. And I know you are somehow against that version of the Constitution because, you know, who doesn't like fucking being discriminated against. But oh, I forgot, when it comes to people like you, Elizabeth, you are always calling for this. You are always discriminating against people, and you're so blind, dumb, and stupid to even realize it. And oh my fucking god, when does this chapter end? Just preach the gospel. Nothing frustrates me more than hearing Christians say we are supposed to preach the gospel, not fight a culture war. Grr, no, actually no. In the Great Commission, Jesus told his disciples to teach the nations all things that I have commanded you. Matthew 28:20. How many things? All things. Man shall not live by bread alone, but by what? According to Jesus. By every word proceeds from the mouth of God. To abandon any word of God for fear of man or want of man's approval is to abandon faithfulness of God's word. For whoever shall keep the whole law, yet stumble in one point, he is guilty of. You've definitely stumbled a lot in your life, Elizabeth. You have. And we will get to this point after I finish this fucking chapter. We have so much opportunity and freedom in America, and yet in one generation, a snoozing church has been almost 60 million babies dismembered and slain by abortion and funded by taxpayer expense, and the institution of marriage has been trampled by homosexuals. 10 Commandments monuments ripped out of our courthouse grounds and off our public school properties by the atheists and the safe sex education programs teaching sodomy, premarital sex, oral sex, and mutual masturbation to our children. Planned Parenthood against taxpayers' expense. We have squandered our opportunities, which were even more expensive than what the first disciples had in the book of Acts. Okay, then let's fucking talk about this shit right here. This paragraph alone, this basically wraps up everything that I've been talking to you about for fucking months and years. Okay, the snoozing church has been seen almost 60 million babies dismembered and slain by abortion funded at taxpayers' expense. Lady, none of your taxpayers go to Planned Parenthood. None of your taxpayers go for abortion. Look up the Hyde Amendment, look up the Hyde Act, and get back to me. Oh, and one more thing. Look up the test of the unfaithful wife. It's in your holy book. You should know this because you supposedly had read that entire book front to back all the time, but yet you seem to ignore that. Methinks you've never read that entire book at all in your fucking life. 10 Commandments, mommy, which were ripped out from our courthouse grounds and off our public school property by atheists. First of all, the reason why we don't have 10 Commandments monuments on actual courthouse government property is because it violates separation of church and state. How do you not know this? One founding religion, one religion, Christianity, mind you, is not the ruling religion in this country. There are many other peoples. There are many other people in this country that worship and believe in different faiths. Christianity is not the ruling religion in this fucking country. We are not like, if you want a fucking country that has one fucking religion in power, go to fucking Saudi Arabia. I'm pretty sure you would enjoy it there. Methinks you would. Oh, and still though, they don't ban religious crap from public schools. I'm so sick and tired of people saying we've banned the Bible from the schools. No, you fucking idiot. I don't know how many times I had to fucking tell you this, but no. People only fucking banned teacher-led prayer. That's it. The only thing that they've ever banned in schools was teacher-led prayer. If people want to do a before-school club where they talk about the Bible, if people want to do an after-school club where they talk about the Bible, they can. They can do that. You also seem to forget that every single year, I believe in the month of September, they have a thing where they meet out at the flagpole. They all gather around. They sing songs. They read gospels. It's called See You at the Pole. Picking and choosing or ignoring perfect stuff. Ignoring actual facts. Ignorance is bliss with you. Safe sex education programs teaching sodomy, premarital sex, oral sex, and mutual masturbation to our children by Planned Parenthood. If you somehow think teenagers are fucking kids, you are mentally handicapped. Teenagers are going to have sex regardless of what you want them to do, Elizabeth. What? This is why they teach safe sex, so they can prevent against AIDS, STDs, unwanted pregnancies. Do you want them to have an abortion? No, you don't. So you teach them not to have sex. If they are going to have sex, you teach them about condoms. You teach them about birth controls. Oh, wait, I forgot. Birth controls to you are abortion pills. Your blondness and your stupidity is showing. And Planned Parenthood, I'm pretty sure, does not teach safe sex in schools. I'm pretty sure that's the teachers themselves doing it. You idiots! Apathetic believers reclined on their couches with their remote control entertainment for fishing boats and their cell phone smut are passing to our children and grandchildren, in which the Bible will be hate speech. We can't appeal to the Great Commission to justify our apathy. Yes, we should preach the gospel and tell people that Jesus is certainly coming back, but generations of Christians have been saying that while doing nothing to preserve religious freedom for their posterity. The Great Commission and soon coming of the Savior should be a motivation to stand, not to cover up, hide, and give up. I don't think people are actually hiding and giving up. Yeah, remote controlled entertainment, fishing boats, and cell phone smut. Lady, you are on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube. That fucking right-wing version of Twitter. If anyone's on their cell phone smut, I say it's you! I found my voice when Kim Davis walked out of the jail that day and pointed to the heavens pointed heavenward, thanking God, tears filled my eyes. It was just ordinary. It was just an ordinary woman who had an extraordinary opportunity to stand in the face of tyranny and do right. She chose to glorify God in her suffering. The day Kim Davis was released from jail was a Wednesday, which is typically when churches have their midweek services. I discovered where she attended church and called to be sure they were meeting. Remember, although my children and I had been beating the streets for Kim, we still had never met her. As we pulled our big family van up to the church parking lot, we were greeted by a tall man who was clearly guarding the church and watching for potential threats. It was Kim's husband, Joe. Worshipping with Kim and watching her praise the Lord in her little country church the night she was out of jail thrilled my soul. How about you actually do your fucking research for once, you stupid idiotic cow? Do that for once! My God! Please, do your fucking research for once. My God. If you do a simple amount of research on Kim Davis, you will fucking see that she has been married 4 fucking times! What's that whole thing about one man, one woman for life, Elizabeth? Is that only okay when you say it's okay? Or do you ignore the fucking facts that your fucking idol, Kim Davis, was married 4 fucking times? Do a simple amount of research for yourself for once. My God. While the Church of Jesus Christ slumbers comfortably in their padded church pews, Kim Davis went to bat for all of us by challenging the seats of political power, going to jail for her faith, and ultimately planting a stake in the ground for religious freedom. My children and I will always admire her. In Kim Davis, a humble county clerk, a relatively new convert to Christianity, I found a hero. I found courage outside of my comfort zone. I found my voice. And I witnessed how God can use simple-minded people like you and me to change course in history if we only live our lives under God's authority. End of chapter fucking 1. Oh my God. Okay, so that was chapter 1. How many fucking chapters are in this goddamn book? How many chapters are in this pathetic book? This horribly written, stupid, pathetically hate-filled book. 11 chapters, and I'm only on chapter 23. Out of 177 pages. I'm going to freaking die! Okay. Elizabeth, you're such a hypocrite. This feels like this feels like one of my responses to you. Cause I'm not going to like, cause that was only chapter 1 of this book, guys. Get ready for the rest of the chapters. You're not gonna like it. Fucking help me!